The following is a morning walk conversation with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 25th of July, 1975, in Los Angeles, California.
Well, it seems that they're complaining that people are depending on faith for their knowledge. So their claim is that we do not depend on this faith. We simply take a group of facts, and from these facts, this strong body of facts, we develop a theory which will explain them.
Theory is not faith.
Not faith?
Not faith. They say that the theory, it's simply an idea of how it could happen.
So that is faith.
They don't believe the theory until they think they have sufficient facts.
That is faith, I guess. Blind faith.
These facts, these theories are tested by presenting more and more facts in the light of this theory. Either the theory collapses under the new facts or it becomes strengthened. So by this method... Well, for example, you may see that living beings are reproducing geometrically. One couple produces 2 children. Those children each produce 2 children. So in that way it appears that the animal population should be increasing geometrically. We can see that...
Who made that geometry?
Who made the geometry?
Who made the geometry? This is all just going on.
Accident. That.
So their observation is that even though this geometric progression of species is going on, still the same amount of living beings in each species is remaining. So the theory to support this is that within each species there must be variations. And within these variations, certain ones are more favorable than others for survival. So in due course of time, the unfavorable variations die out.
That is already there. You are living more than the ants. That is already there.
Their claim is that within a particular species, the variations from birth to birth...
Can they increase the life period of an ant?
Well, their claim is that this can happen.
And what's that? Again, there is only shelter. What's that?
So it again comes down to faith on their part.
Don't waste time. See their rascal now.
One claim the scientists make is that they're more humble in their knowledge than we are. They don't say that this is
Why
the
should be humble? We are not foolish, man. That we shall be humble. We must be proud of our knowledge. You are foolish, you become humble. The dog is humble, man is not humble. The dog may bark and man, shut up, immediately. So you are like dogs.
Their claim is that species are not constant like our claim. They say that species constantly change till the original species is gone and a new species is created.
What is that original species?
Well, they say originally chemicals. For originally very complex chemicals, acids.
Very complex, again. They cannot understand. So complex that they cannot understand. So what is the use of such things?
Well, they say these complex chemicals came from the simplest chemicals.
Where from?
Where from?
Yeah.
Well, they say in space there were many, many particles.
Space
That's eternal. They say it's eternal.
Huh?
They say the space and the dust.
Father, stop speculating. Everything is eternal. Why do you bother yourself? Find out something new.
To control.
Huh?
To gain control.
No, you cannot control. Because you are controlled. That is eternally you are controlled. You are controlled.
Also, Srila Prabhupada, they don't recognize that there are so many species of life. Just like the white man and the black man, they will say is one species. And also the Aboriginal.
Let us attract forms. Not species, but form. It doesn't matter. There is only change of words. There are so many forms.
They say that the amount of forms is not constant because by breeding different forms together, they can create completely new forms that never existed before.
What is the use of creating new forms? Already there are 8 million.
But their claim is that by breeding different forms together, they'll get superior forms. They give the example.
You cannot maintain your own child form, you are killing. What is the use of increasing?
For example, they used to have wild boars. They cannot eat them. But they have bred now very fat pigs to eat. They consider this to be a great advantage.
Also with fruits and vegetables, they are combining and creating new types.
So many varieties.
Like the nectarine is a combination of a peach
and a plum.
We have the real nectarine.
Nectarine, you may have created, but the peach and the palm was there.
But they have created a new
What
thing.
new creation? Unless there was palm and peach, how could we create?
So the peach and plum created.
Yeah.
So they're dependent on the...
Scientist named Fox they have conjectured that these original very complex nucleic acids have created life. So he's taken these acids in a big test tube.
Go to the forest. And cry there. Yes, we treat them as foxes and jackals, that's all. Not even human beings. They waste time in this way and people are enamored by that. That is, just like we are talking, space, meeting. What they have gained out of it. And people are enamored to talk about them, write in the newspaper, make a subject matter. And then all of a sudden death comes, get out, finish. How foolish they are. Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu order is, Jare dakho tare kaho, Krishna bol. Don't talk nonsense. Whoever you meet, if you want to become a leader and talk something, talk Krishna Katha. Jare dakho tare kaho, Krishna bol, what Krishna has said. Then satisfy your ambition to become a talker. Otherwise you rascal remain a talker only. You talk only, you get nothing. If you want to utilize your talking power, then talk what Krishna has instructed. Then your life will be successful. And if you talk foolishly, then you will be what is called revealed as a rascal. Tavatcha sobhate murkha javat kinchin nabhasan. A rascal fool is so long beautiful as long he does not speak. As soon as he speaks, then he is revealed that he is a rascal. So don't talk this. Tavatcha sobhate murkha. You can dress yourself very nice gentleman. People are rascal. But as soon as you talk nonsense, he is a rascal. That is what. They are, in the name of scientists, philosophers, they are talking nonsense and exposing themselves that they are all rascals.
Someone like Meher Baba who never spoke.
Huh? That is another art of not being exposed. Because as soon as he speaks, he becomes rascal. the Mauna Baba. There is no enemy. There is Bengali. Bobar Satru Nai. If you are dumb, then nobody is your enemy. Bobar, so they become Boba. Boba means dumb. I don't speak. That means I don't create many enemies. That's all.
Nothing positive.
Yeah. You are okay, I am okay.
Like that Yogi Bhajan. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then when he spoke, he started speaking about his court cases.
Court case?
Yeah.
He's very expert.
What?
Very expert in dealing with legal cases. What they speak, what they have got. Better not to talk.
During that meeting, Muni, he was interested in spiritual conversation. But Yogi Bhajan, he did not take part at all.
He said his ego was very large. He said he had a big ego.
Eagle?
Ego.
Eagle bird.
So ego.
Ego. Oh.
Ego.
He said he admitted he had a very big ego.
But who cares for you?
He said he was trying to do away with it.
But your beard is growing more and more. That I say to my disciples that if you have to take instructions, that is Bhaktivedanta. He said that.
If you want to take instruction, go to Bhaktivedanta. Then why doesn't he go to Bhakti?
He comes.
Oh. Yeah, you are not going to him.
Came to me that we are trying to establish universal brotherhood. You are not present. Who was present? I say it is all bogus. You will never be able to do it. Immediately. It is all bogus. You will never be able to.
Notice Srila Prabhupada, in your conversation with him, that there was some mention that Vedas were the universal doctrine. So he mentioned, I think, that his, what is that book they have? The Guru Grantha could also be accepted as universal. And I think he said something that it was only a branch.
Yeah.
He was feeling that it wasn't a branch. It was as good.
Understand, just like you give somebody 2 kinds of vegetables and spices, and he makes a nice preparation. So people, the so-called scientists, they are like that. But we are after where from the vegetable came. That is the difference.
Who supplied?
Who supplied. That is the difference. He is trying to take credit by mixing these vegetables and spices and salt and ghee. And he is expert in preparing very nice palatable. But we say that where you got the vegetables, where you got the spices, where you got the ghee, and they are not concerned about it.
They don't want to tell.
They do not know. Our philosophy is Jato Vaimani Bhutani Jahante. The original source of all these things.
I think if they can make very palatable dishes, what is the need for God?
But without God, where do you get the ingredient?
He is automatically supplying them.
Oh, therefore there is no need of it. I supply you everything, and you say there is no need of it. Very good intelligence. Ungrateful.
Yes.
The intelligence is ungrateful. Such man should not be given any credit. Ungrateful.
So say that at least our method proves out with facts Whereas your method, there is no facts, simply you have some faith. So better that at least we know the facts and not know the source.
Right. We accept this earth, water, air, fire, everything.
So we can see this is here.
Where our potential, where from it came?
Well, we have to test this out scientifically. We can't just accept.
You say that the water is composition of hydrogen and oxygen. Where from we got this so much hydrogen and oxygen? The Pacific Ocean. There is so much water needed in so many places. Why don't you take chemical and pour water? Why you talk nonsense?
They can make a little water in a test tube.
That's right. That we can produce while I pass urine. So you can create little urine. That we do automatically. At least I do. Every hour I pass it. So your credit is urine maker.
We have developed a method of seeding clouds. We send airplanes into the clouds and spread chemicals. And then we send airplanes into the clouds and spread chemicals. And then rain comes. So what need is there?
Sometimes.
What is that?
Sometimes they're able to
agitate the cloud.
And now they find out it's causing worse effects. So they have to stop that also.
So why don't you create
the clouds?
Clouds and sufficient rain in the desert where there is so much water is needed. Why don't you do that? If you say, yes, I have passed urine in the desert. What is it? I have passed urine on the desert. The desert is fulfilled.
Sometimes in times of great need, in the desert they will hire these Indian rainmakers, and they will do some dance to try to create rain.
Need of creating water. You have no such intelligence. Just like the Arabian desert is there, Arabian Sea is there. Why don't you utilize this water? Instead of bluffing others that we can create water, why don't you use this water and make the desert fertile? Create a little water in the test tube. So you take that credit. Why you want to take the credit of creating a Pacific Ocean? That is our protest. You are able to create 1 ounce of water in the test tube, that's all right, miracle done. But we say that one who has created the Pacific Ocean, how much credit he will be given. That is our proposal. You take test tube credit, but you must give Pacific credit to God. That is one thing. But creating test tube water, you want to take the Pacific credit. Is that very good? Nice proposal. Spoken by one scientist in our Delhi meeting, who are present in the Delhi meeting. The scientist said,
Dr. Atmaram.
Dr. Atmaram, that we have simply learned how to bark like dog. But we don't care, so many dogs are already barking. He admitted that if a man learns how to bark, people will purchase ticket and see him. And so many thousands of dogs are barking, nobody cares. This is science. Learn how to bark. Imitate the dog and you become important. You have created one third fruit by mixing peach and plum. And one is creating millions and trillions of fruits that is lying on the floor, nobody cares for that. He has no credit. These rascals want credit for this. Most insignificant.
They say their barking is an improvement on the original dog.
Another dog appreciates like that.
Is that originally God's creation is not perfect. Nature is very wild, and man can make it perfect.
You have not come to that perfection, so you are not important. Muslim country there is a word. Khuda ka upar khidmatdari. Khuda means God. These rascals want to go above God.
Have remarked that since you have come to Los Angeles, the deity has increased in beauty many times. Krishna.
My anxiety, then in my absence you may neglect deity worship, then the whole thing is spoiled. That is my anxiety.
They're very worried. They say the earth has a certain tilt. And every few million years the tilt is changing little. And by this changing, eventually the ice on the north and south poles will melt, they say. So they were very afraid, because then their estimate is that the entire earth will be covered with water.
Why he is afraid? Huh?
Well, they were afraid for future humanity. They will all be killed.
He is not careful about himself. He's thinking he cannot take care of himself. He thinks of others.
They're thinking this is a great humanitarian. They think this is a humanitarian attitude to worry about the future.
To protect yourself is not humanitarian. You are dogtarian. You cannot protect yourself and thinking of humanity. You are also human being. Why don't you take care of you first of all?
But maybe it is a higher duty to worry about people in the future.
Duty, that I know, but why don't you take care of you?
I'd better job.
Well, they think they're okay.
Huh?
They think we're all right.
But this is broad-minded.
Right, he's not okay because he's full of anxiety. He's not okay. How you can say he's okay? Rascal is full of anxiety and he's thinking okay. Just see.
They are thinking they will live for millions of years.
That is postdated today. Only rascals spoke like that, but they are washed away by the waves of nature. That is rascal.
That is their first anxiety, that the ice will melt and cover the earth with water. Their next anxiety is that they will cover with ice.
Ice melt or not melt. You are not going to live. You will die. So others will die. You cannot protect yourself and others also. So why you are unnecessarily full of anxiety? You cannot. Passannapi na passati. Pramatta teshanga nidhanam passannapi na passati. These things are already discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't read. These rascals.
There's no time. The science.
You have time to talk all this nonsense. And you have no time to read Bhagavatam. This is our misfortune.
The airport, they cannot save themselves from our book distributors.
Rather they purchase also.
Yes. Scientists become conquered.
Scientists do not manufacture brain and give it to a stone and he becomes a scientist. Why do they not do that? Manufacture, you have got so nice brain, now manufacture another brain and put it on the stone and he becomes, that, what is called? Frankenstein? Why they are not unable to create another brain? What is the answer?
They haven't been able to get sufficient research grants from the government.
They
They
need
haven't
more
been able to
money
get
from the
research
government.
grants from government for this purpose. But if they can get more money, then they'll be able to do it.
They say they will do
And
it.
then, what is his position? Who has created his brain?
This just came in the course of evolution.
So, then why you are talking so much? You come, everything. Why you are wasting time? Let it come, everything by evolution.
They say where everything has come from, that is not so much important. But let us take the forces that we have now, the forces of nature, and use them for the betterment of mankind. Where it comes from does... Yes, because years ago people would have to go out in the cold and chop a tree to get wood for fire. Now they simply turn the stove and the fire is
You
there.
say, the wood was there and people are taking. You do not know, you are so foolish. The woods were there already and people are there, they are taking advantage.
Yeah, we've arranged it in such a way now it's easier for us to carry on our daily lives by adjusting things like this. Where it comes from, it's already there. We admit it's there. Where it comes from, it's not so important.
They used to create by fire, by mantra. Can you do that?
They need natural gas, and the natural gas is running out.
We don't believe in these mantras because there's no
I
fossils.
don't believe you also. Who believes you? Some rascals may believe.
There's so much evidence, though. We have fossils.
We have also evidence. If you don't believe me, who is going to believe you?
Where Darwin actually admitted that there was a creator. Yeah, he said, so we can see that the creator originally breathed the air of life into living objects, and from there on evolution took place.
Very good.
Theory is correct, isn't it, in a sense, that the bodies are always changing. The bodies are always changing, so from the outward appearance, it seems the evolutionary theory is correct.
Not that. That is, we accept evolution. But their evolution is that there is no soul. Who is the proprietor of the body?
So
That they do not know.
There's no meaning to their theory, then. There's no meaning to their
Because
theory.
in beginning is mistaken. Your education from wrong platform, the whole thing is wrong. Studying me that I am this dress, then do you study me properly? That is the intelligence. They are studying this body. And no knowledge of the proprietor of the body.
They always put up is that our Vedic philosophy is coming from India. So they argue that this Vedic philosophy is coming from India. In India there is so much disease and so many problems, but here where we have our science, there is no disease.
Because they are now fond of you. The Indians have become infected by you. Therefore they are diseased. You are all diseased. And now infected them, they are become diseased.
Why is there no disease here? Why is there no
disease.
symptoms?
Why you are anxious about the cancer? The big disease. India may be suffering from small disease, and because you are suffering from big disease, therefore you are big. We are suffering from big disease. First of all, become diseaseless. Then talk of India is suffering and you are not suffering. You are big and you are suffering from big disease, that's all.
The wife of President Ford, she has gotten cancer. And she had to have operation, very painful.
Big disease, big pain.
The president could not protect his own wife.
Vice president's also. His wife also.
Question is, that India is small, he is suffering from malaria, and you are big, you are suffering from cancer. So a big man, big disease, a small man, small disease. But we want the disease less. But you become proud, no, you have got big disease, for treatment we pay the physician thousands of dollars. You pay it enough. Therefore I am better. I am able to pay the physician millions of dollars. He cannot pay. Therefore I am big.
The hospitals here have better facilities than in countries in India.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we can
simply proportion 5 upon 10 and 5 million upon 10 million. The proportion is because the figure is 5 million over 10 million. That does not mean that the proportion is not the same. Put 5 upon 10 or 5 million or 10, the result is why other parts they suffer from brain. That's nice. You have made scientific improvement. You produce more and distribute to the poor country. On the conjuncture. One is blind, one is lame. So let the lame man be taken by the blind man. He can walk. And both their work will be nicely done. That I put this argument always. You are blind by material advancement, and India has got spiritual advancement, but for want of money they cannot move. So you take this lame man, you blind, on your shoulder, and cooperation will be good for the whole world.